Okay guys, I need you to remind me of something the next time I go to CES and see all the shinies. I can't handle all the shinies. I have to say no to some of the shinies. I think I'm gonna make it through it all, but this has been a lot of reviews, so remind me to say no to the shinies. Hey guys, Hardware Hound here. We have another power supply to look at, and this time it's one from Rosewill, the Valens 600M. So yeah, nice little 600 watt, gold rated power supply, and kind of aimed at a budget target audience. So you know how it is. We do pretty straightforward and I don't have equipment to do crazy extensive reviews, so we're going to do some just closer looks, see how the connectors work, see how things work under what I would consider a safe load for this PSU and what I would recommend if you were going to purchase this, and then we'll wrap this review up. I don't think it'll be too terribly hard. Okay, let's take a closer look at what Rosewill has to offer with their Valens PSU here. So this one's their modular version. Semi-modular though, we do have two cables here that are obviously permanently attached. But yeah, got there our nice little power rating. Everything looks pretty typical. We've got our typical 20 amps for the 3 and 5 volts. I've noticed that there used to be a time when those were like closer to 25, but we've got way more power efficient CPUs and stuff, so some motherboards, RAM, stuff like that doesn't rely on those voltages, so we can dedicate more to our 12 volt rails, which is exactly what we got going on here. So yeah, not a bad little unit. You know, Rosewill's got just a nice little kind of a little bit of a matte black finish. Obviously you can still see a little bit of fingerprints from my handling it, but nothing, it doesn't show up too bad. Just got a small little fan here in the bottom. Nothing too terribly huge. Got our Valens logo. So yeah, nice little closer look there. There's what the back looks like. Just, yeah, nice solid looking PSU on the outside. You know, we could try to open it all up and see what we have going on there, but I am not quite to that point yet. So yeah, the only two connectors that we have that are hardwired in is our 24-pin connector and our CPU's 8-pin. So that's perfect. I love the fact that they do that. If you're going to do semi-modular, then that's exactly the way you should do it, and I really like that. Now, one of the things that I kind of like, and I get that there's some kind of debate on it, but I'm still kind of a fan, is we do have the black ribbon cables for the extension cables, and I actually really do like that. I just think they're easier to cable manage. I understand that in some cases they could be high, like amperage and stuff, or they can be considered cheaper. But for people who don't have the money for custom cables, these look nicer, and I do like that. And honestly, on this PSU, you shouldn't be running a GTX 1080 Ti anyway. So yeah, here we go. Got just a nice, simple, just plugs right in. And nope, let me see if I can get that guy to go in there right. Plugs right in and you're good to go. What's nice is I double checked all the holes on this power supply. Nothing looks like it's interchangeable. So like I can't accidentally plug, well, oh wait, I missed that. I can plug the 6-pin part in, but I can't get the little 2-pin here connector. And you know, that's something that maybe ideally we wouldn't want to see happen, but at least it is part of the graphics card level of things. So the real question would be then, could I accidentally plug this guy into a graphics card if that was the case? And the answer to that question is no. So it'll be really hard to reverse these cables in any way. And then of course your PCI, various peripheral extensions only plug in to that part there. So yeah, nice little semi-modular power supply, only using the cables that you need and having nice little flat ribbon cables. I like that. I guess the only thing that could be a little bit is if there's a way to sleeve this little section here so that doesn't show, but you know, we're talking about a budget power supply. I'm not particularly, that's not something that I would expect. If I was buying a upper tier power supply, I'd expect more than that. So I think what we're doing in this budget sector is looking pretty nice. Let's go ahead and look at some brief testing results, and then we can wrap this guy up. Okay, let's get back to the testing side of things and just do some of the basic voltage and noise testing that I do Once again, I do, if I keep doing PSU reviews down the road, would like to at least look into some Ripple. I'll have to buy some equipment to do that. But for now, I'm just doing some basic voltage test. So if you're looking for super thorough PSU reviews, I understand, I'm not your guy. But hey, I know that sometimes it's helpful just to look at something and just say, hey, here's some basic impressions. So first off, let's talk about my recommendations. I personally do not recommend buying a 600 watt PSU if you need 600 watts. Okay, ideally, I would say you want to go about 20-25% above your maximum wattage needs to be safe. So in this case, when I'm testing, I loaded up about 450 watts roughly of system load and then tested this power supply. And so when I did my voltage regulation, check that out, everything was really tight. I mean, extremely tight. The difference between full load and idle was almost nothing. And that's great. Now, granted, I'm not stressing this PSU to the max, but you know, to really do that and really get a feel, you need a lot more expensive equipment than I have. So at least on an average safe use, this guy is doing fantastic. The fan noise, little bit louder than usual. You notice that I pulled about 54 decibels on the fan noise. And you know, that's just a result of a smaller fan, smaller PSU. It's definitely gonna heat up there. I've seen other power supplies that are just super quiet even when they're under full load. And I think some of that's just because of the smaller design. But the fact is sometimes the fan ramps up. In fact, it's ramping up right now. You probably still couldn't hear it, but it was just enough noise that while I'm talking and with it being right there close to my ear, I am gonna notice it. But if I had it even at the bottom of my floor, it wouldn't be unless I was doing a really heavy gaming load that I'd probably start noticing it. But it does get audible. So overall, not too bad. Some of the connectors, one thing I noticed is the motherboard connector was a little tight trying to get it to snap in, but I can't say for sure if that's the connector type they used or if that's just my motherboard, especially considering my experience with power supplies are a little limited. 24 pins always seem to give me a little trouble. But overall, I got pretty good experience with it. I mean, really good, honestly. I had virtually no voltage movement at all from full load to slight loads. Like I said, without being able to check out that Ripple though, a little hard to call. So let's talk about why I test this way and add a little more detail to that in the conclusion and wrap this guy up. Okay guys, let's wrap up this review. So let's go ahead and start off the price. For starters, I was looking up the Valens. The 600M, it's not as easy to find. Like I found it on Amazon for like $100, which is really high. But I kind of feel like that's a situation where they're just kind of some leftover last end stock and they're not really changing the price much. They might put them on sale later, but you know, it's not one of those things that Amazon's keeping a regular stock. So it doesn't surprise me. Newegg is really the place that we want to look on the pricing for Rosewill gear. And in this case, I didn't find the 600M, but I did find a 600 watt version. And then there's 700M, the Valens 700, which is the modular and the 700 watt. The normal 600 is just the non-modular 600 watt. Both power supplies are priced excellently. I mean, excellently. They are very, very good values. They're like about the lowest. In fact, on the 600 watt, I only found one unit that was lower that's still considered a gold rating, and it's not even a brand name I recognize. So yeah, Rosewill's doing an excellent, excellent job on pricing. And in fact, pricing is still going to be a huge factor in what we do. Performance-wise, I got great performance, but I'm going to do something that I will hardly ever do in reviews. I did check out customer reviews on these things. Now, with power supplies, everybody gets dead power supplies. And I mean, you see it pop up on reviews all the time. So while you have to kind of take them with a grain of salt, you still have to kind of perk up and pay attention to, well, there's a lot of people saying, hey, this thing died on me. Now, I didn't see a lot of, though, oh my goodness, this power supply fried my whole system, which is a good sign. That probably means their power protection measures are working. But it could mean that there's a cheap component in there that is causing problems. And you know, guys, as much as I would love to get detailed more into that, there's also a level of I'm kind of hitting my cap for the time being with my schedule of how much new info I can put in. So here's my recommendation though. really, if you are not trying to push the limits of like the 700M or even just the 600 watt version of these guys, if you're going to keep a nice safe amount of wattage overhead from what your system would require on full load, I think these guys are going to be great, excellent budget options. As you can see, the testing went really well. I mean, we had really good voltage control considering that I wasn't stressing this PSU to its max. But if you're getting graphics cards and stuff that are going to stress to the max, I would recommend maybe still looking a little bit higher and really checking the quality. When you're putting really expensive components, you do not want to skimp on your power supply. Now that said, if I'm putting something expensive, but I'm not going to really use the whole power ceiling of a power supply that's in the budget, it'll probably be safe as well. So if you've got a system that you're running 4, 5, maybe even 550 watts, then the 700M is going to be great for you. And at $80, it's an awesome budget option. If you're running, 4 to 5 or, even in the 300 range, then one of the 600s could be a really excellent budget option too. You'll get that gold efficiency, which will help you a little bit at the power bill, but you'll also have plenty of overhead. If you are getting like a 1080 Ti and your power needs are hitting 600 to 700 watts, then you might want to consider jumping up to the 850, even 1000 range to really keep your stuff safe and not stress the PSU too much. So that's kind of just my general wisdom on the matter. So in light of everything though, if you are using this power supply according to what I would recommend, and even just in general, that's been the general recommendation of people at PureOC forums for a while, then I think this is going to be a great option for you. Keep plenty of overhead on that, good 20, 25% wattage overhead, and this should be a really nice unit. I'll go ahead and give it an editor's choice for that because I really like the price. I do like the way they do their semi-modular. I think the 700M is just an excellent budget option. So there you go. That's your review. Hey, I know it's pretty simplistic. If you were looking for something to power your 1080 Ti, your NVIDIA GTX one, I would look at some way more detailed reviews. But if you're just on a budget and hoping somebody can give you a little bit of a picture and a little bit of testing, I hope I've helped you out a little bit. So once again, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you later.